The porch light was off when I pulled into the driveway. That should have been the first warning. It was January, 28 degrees, the kind of cold that cracks knuckles and punishes lungs, the kind that creeps into places it does not belong. I saw the newspapers before I saw her, gray sheets taped together, fluttering weakly in the wind. Someone had tried to make a shelter, someone who was small, careful, quiet. Then I saw the shoes, too small, pink, frozen stiff. I didn't breathe. I didn't think. I just ran. She was curled on her side like she had practiced disappearing, hair stuck to her cheek, lips pale, chest rising so shallow it scared me. I peeled the newspaper away with shaking hands. My jacket was off before I knew it, wrapped around her, my body blocking the wind. Her eyes opened halfway. Daddy? Barely sound, just habit. I lifted her. She weighed nothing. That scared me more than the cold. Mom and Grandma said the house is only for real family, she whispered, like she was repeating rules, like rules mattered more than warmth. I carried her to the car, started it, heat on full. I held her hands over the vents until color came back, until she stopped shivering. Then I closed the door and walked back toward the house. 14 hours in the air, and that house still smelled the same. Lavender cleaner, expensive candles. Comfort. I stood in the hallway listening to the quiet breathing of people who had slept through a decision. I remembered the video calls, my wife angling the camera so I never saw much of the house, her voice always calm, always tired, my mother-in-law hovering just out of frame, smiling too hard. I had ignored the small things. That was my mistake. I had learned to ignore discomfort. Training does that, teaches you to survive without asking why. I opened my daughter's room. Her bed was stripped, no sheets, no blankets, just a folded newspaper on the pillow like an explanation. I didn't wake anyone yet. I sat at the kitchen table instead, let the quiet stretch, let my pulse settle. There were texts on my wife's phone. I didn't have to dig. She never changed her passcode. Messages to her sister, to her mother. She's not really his anyway. He's gone most of the year. She needs to learn her place. I read them once, then again slower. The betrayal wasn't loud. It never is. It's administrative, organized, decided over tea. I stayed calm the next morning. That's the part people misunderstand. Calm isn't forgiveness. Calm is planning. I made breakfast. I kissed my wife's cheek. I watched my mother-in-law stiffen when she saw my daughter asleep in the guest room wrapped in 3 blankets. No one asked how she ended up there. I spent the day making calls, school records, pediatric visits, documents I had never seen, forms I had signed overseas without reading closely enough. There was a pattern. My name missing where it shouldn't be, another man's signature appearing quietly, a family friend, a donor, words chosen carefully. By evening, I knew what they had been telling themselves, that I was temporary, that absence erased blood, that love could be outvoted. I printed everything, put it in a folder, the kind commanders use when careers end. I woke them after midnight, not by yelling, by turning on lights. They sat at the table in robes in confusion. My daughter slept in the locked car with the engine running and the heat on. I could see her breath fogging the window from where I stood. I slid the folder across the table. "Explain," I said. My wife's face collapsed first. My mother-in-law reached for the papers with shaking hands. She knew before she read. She had always known. "You were gone," my wife said. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly," I said. My voice didn't move. I pointed to the last page. A legal notice. Custody petition. Filed. Signed. Denied. "You tried to erase me," I said. "You failed." She cried, loud, messy, like emotion could rewrite timelines. I didn't react. The power move wasn't violence. It never is. It was walking away with every copy. It was the call I made to my commander explaining why my leave would become permanent. It was the lawyer waiting in the car when they ran outside barefoot into the cold. I buckled my daughter in myself. She fell asleep before we reached the end of the street. Weeks later, in a smaller place with louder floors and less furniture, she asked me one question: "Am I real family now?" I didn't answer right away. I pulled her close, felt her heartbeat, solid, certain. "You always were," I said. The rest of them still live in that warm house. I hope the silence keeps them awake.